Peace, people. Welcome to the latest episode of The Rough Draft. I am your host, Kevin Alberto Sabio, and in this edition of The Rough Draft, I'll be talking about my third release called In My Lifetime. Now, In My Lifetime, it's my third book. It's a comedic memoir, so it's about 10 stories of just different events that I went through in my life from my youth to my young adulthood. Uh, a lot of crazy things and just giving it my own sarcastic spin from like road trip from hell, roommate from hell, job from hell, my first love, high school crush, and certain other stories. In My Lifetime was originally not the third book that I wanted to publish. At that time, I wanted to write a book three of the Raise Your Brown Black Fist book series, but the book wasn't ready. I hadn't even started writing it yet. And so I decided, okay, I wanted to write a third book. First two books had been out like close to 3 years at that time. So I just wanted to do something to be consistent. So my original plan as a published author was to write a book at least every other year and have it published, put out into the marketplace. Um, Within My Lifetime, it's a collection of 10 stories. They originally started out as Facebook notes, and I wrote them at a time where I was just kind of going through a little bit of a funk, had a little bit of writer's block, and I kind of wanted to get like my writing mojo back. So I basically just started writing these notes kind of as a gag and kind of to get my creative juices flowing. So I believe the first one that I wrote, which that whole section is called Funny Stories because there's 10 of them, was I wrote about a road trip that I had taken with one of my peoples back in 2007. We went to this Black comic convention that's part of a movement called the Black Age of Comics movement. It was in Philadelphia. It's called the East Coast Black Age of Comics Convention. I'd actually been to that convention before, and one of my peoples who was he was a local artist because I was living in Richmond at the time. So I tried to get this little caravan of people from out there to go, so-called conscious niggas, full of shit. But anyway, he was the only one who was willing to go. So I kind of wrote about the adventures or misadventures that we had going into that trip. So I mean the trip itself started off really good and then it went downhill afterwards. So everything that could go wrong actually did go wrong. So I actually wrote about it. I posted it on Facebook. And a lot of people who I tagged in it, they were laughing their asses off. They thought it was ridiculous and it was funny. So that kind of helped me. So I kind of ended up writing other stories after that. So the notes themselves were actually about, there was 9 of them. And that was actually what prompted me to actually publish my first book. So that's kind of what was the genesis of what moved me into becoming a published author from when I was originally doing screenwriting and then just kind of basically focusing primarily on activism at that point in my life. So when it came to writing a third project, I'm like, well, I had these different Facebook notes. They were, you were saying, they were, there was about 9 of them. They actually were pretty well received from the people who I had tagged and they had read them. So I'm like, well, why not? I have this material. Might as well use it. So I basically went, cut and pasted this stuff into a document and put it all together. And I added one additional story that wasn't originally, you say, published as a Facebook note. So the stories, like I said, they span from my youth to part of my adulthood, pretty much from my youth, elementary school memories up until about my mid 30s. And I put my own smart ass sarcastic spin on them. First half of the book is actually those 10 stories, and then the second half of the book, because in the book I talk about my other creative and adventures that I wanted to get into. Because like not only did I want to work in film and television, for a brief period of time, I actually wanted to be a music artist. So I have a bunch of like different rhymes and rap songs and other songs that I had written that I included in the book, as well as like a poem. So I mean, it really showed my creative side. I'm actually pretty happy with that book. Um, in My Lifetime, it's got some mixed reviews because like most people who read it, they thought it was very funny once it was put together in book form, not just the individual stories that I had posted originally online. And then there were some other people who they read it, and I guess they didn't care for the language. He said some of my commentary, they weren't very happy with it because they were all in their feelings or in their religious beliefs. I don't care. Write your own fucking book if that's the way it is. I mean, for me, like it's my story. I told it the way I wanted to tell it, and I told it in a particular way because I thought that you would actually find it to be funny. Because especially at that time, I had my first two books. I was looked at as being very serious and also very angry because niggas don't understand that the book is called Raise Your Brown Black Fist, and they're only looking at the subtitle, which is Political Shots of an Angry Afro Latino, and the only part that they see is Angry Afro Latino. It's like, read the fucking book and understand what the fucking title is. But anyway, I'm not mad. So I kind of wanted to get away from that. So that's what motivated me to write in my lifetime. So if you want to laugh, especially in these trying times, since we're all stuck indoors and dealing with this coronavirus, I mean, at this point, it's like the last week of May. It's actually right after this video. Um, as I'm shooting it, it's actually after Memorial Day weekend. So if you're catching this, it's after Memorial Day weekend. We're, from what I saw at the news, it's what, 98,000 people that have already died. We're almost at 100,000, which is what they predicted when this shit first started. You know, but to get away from that dreariness, if you want to read something and be able to laugh, pick up a copy of it in my lifetime. So it's available in paperback. It's published through Outskirts Press. So you could go to their website or you could order it through Amazon, Barnes& and Noble's Books A Million. And it's also available in ebook format. So Kindle, Nook, Kobo, iTunes, 24 Symbols, Play Store, things like that. You can order it through there. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you'll get the book and you'll be able to enjoy that read and get to laugh a little bit. I mean, I think some of the stories, some people could, I think a lot of people will be able to relate to the stories. You see, like talking about some of my jobs that I really fucking hated, talking about some of my experiences in school, fucked up ass roommate, fucked up ass job, you know, stupid ass people, like trying to get in the music business, some of the fucked up shit I dealt with that. You know, you're gonna enjoy it. I hope you like it. So thank you for paying attention to this episode of Rough Draft. I hope to catch you next time. So definitely, if you're seeing this on YouTube, like, definitely leave a comment, subscribe, share. You know. So until next time, definitely keep the fist raised. Always on my literary grind. I'll catch y'all soon. Peace.